Happy Juneteenth to everyone. Today we're going to just take a trip to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, to one of the places where my ancestors worked and built. Now, you can't really go into the history without going into the history. So what you're seeing now pretty much is Old Salem. This is where the Moravians lived, where they stayed. And also now it is a part of Salem College, which is a women's school for a liberal women's school. So we're just looking down and riding down the streets. It was very peaceful, very enjoyable yesterday to see some of the landmarks that are still within Old Salem and surrounding areas. So basically just looking around and seeing the beautiful trees and the upgrades that they've done within Old Salem. There are also shops and inns. If you ever come to this area, you can stay on site at some of these inns, and they also sell Moravian cookies that is open for business. But as you can see, this was the actual first, I would say, African American, because that's what they named it, church, and it's called St. Philip's. So this was the first church in this area, and we're just looking at some of the grave sites. This particular graveyard was intended for both strangers, people who were just traveling through, and Black Americans. And as you can see, some of the tombstones says child, some of them says adult. And this is the wall of memory. So I know you can't see because it wasn't cleaned or anything, but this is the African American, you can see at the very top, graveyard with the names. Some of them had the full names on there. Some of them just had maybe the name and what they were known for. So if they were a baker, if they were a locksmith, it would be beside that. And on the other side of what you just saw was for the strangers, the names of the strangers who came through. So we're just moseying on, just looking at the landscape. Looking at the old log houses. And the wording didn't really come in clear, but you can actually go to Old Salem, and I'll link a description or put the link in the description box so you can actually look at the archives from there. But that picture right there shows the grave stones that were discovered underneath the church, St. Philip's Church, of what we just saw. And this is just some information about the emancipation of Salem, because Winston and Salem, they call Winston-Salem the Twin Cities because they were two separate cities. They are now joined as one, and now we know it as Winston-Salem, but in these days they were separated. So again, this is the back of St. Philip's, the first Black church in this city. And Happy Hill is what we're going to get into now. This is the path way that you can take from Old Salem, that our ancestors would take from Old Salem to Happy Hill. So this is the beginning of Happy Hill if you were coming from the street level, not the path that we just saw. So this whole landmass, it's hard to show it all, but this entire landmass was given to freedmen they were able to build, and again, I'll put that video in the description box where you can look at a little bit more detail of how it was versus what you see now. A lot has changed. And as you can see, the street intersecting is Liberia Street, but we're going to go around to the other way. This is the house of Miss or Sister Kathleen Mock. I had the honor and the privilege to get to know her, and I could say without a shadow of a doubt that her spirit was like none other I have met. She had an humble, sweet spirit, and I'll never forget how she would come into the church and she would sit over in her seat at the corner, and the sun from the stained glass windows would shine in, and light rays would just hit her face. She would close her eyes and she would start singing, "He's sweet, I know. He's sweet, I know. Storm clouds may rise, strong winds may blow. I'll tell the world wherever I go. Tell them that I found a Savior and He's sweet, I know." And I mean, I'm getting goosebumps from even reminiscing the feeling and the intensity that she would bring forth when she would sing that song. So again, this is such a huge community. There are a lot of, I would say, organizations and certain ones who are trying to really get their hands on this piece of land. They've been successful for the most part. It did become a project development back, I think, after the 50s or 60s. And they've torn those down, and now it's pretty much a diverse community. Unfortunately, those who are still in this community are trying to hold on to it as much as possible, but politics and things of that nature occurs. But there's an organization that has revamped the old shotgun house. This is how it looked originally, far better than this, but that's the makeup of it, of how it looked when our ancestors were here. And there have been a lot of families from our ancestors that have tried to purchase homes and land in this area, and they were not allowed to do so. So again, that redlining is real. This is Free Street that we're looking at now. And it is a church to the left. Actually, my father is the pastor there. But we have activities outside. They cleared off a lot of this area. If you look towards like the fencing area, we put a lot of fruit trees there. The arches were done some years ago, early 2000s. And this is a historical church as well. They were able to keep the main essence of the church, because the church was originally built with mud walls, and those mud walls are still in place today. So those are some of the fruit trees that have been planted recently, because that was one of the stories from some of our older members and some of our ancestors, that you could walk through this community and pick fruit off of trees, and a lot of that had been torn down, but we're trying to replace that now. Also, another fun fact, Happy Hill community was one of those communities within the nation where its dollars circulated around 26 times before it left the community. There were shops in this community, barbershops, stores, you had hair salons, anything that you needed, it was within this community. And another thing about Winston-Salem that some may not know, our people never had to ride on the back of the bus. Why? Because we owned our own bus company. So as everyone else in society was unfortunately having to ride the back of the bus, Winston residents never had to experience that. Okay, now we are at the last cemetery, and I do apologize. My camera was going in and out, so I really didn't get some of the shots that I wanted. But this is a cemetery by which our ancestors are buried. Now, unfortunately, some of the bodies were disturbed, of course, when they separated the communities by the highway. So a lot of our ancestors' remains were disturbed. They don't really like to talk about that, but I will. So in this particular cemetery, which is also a part of the church, Rising Ebenezer Baptist Church, this cemetery can go back to the 1700s. That's to the 1700s. So if you see any grave sites with the flag or flags, those are the ones that actually served in American wars. So we had a lot of those in this particular cemetery. Lastly, let's talk about what has been going on in our community. Now, we have started to delineate, and you can see the sign says Liberia, and that's a good thing that we are delineating, because this sign kind of gives you a brief history of what happened. We have a lot of athletes now trying to make claim to the struggles of freedmen. Okay, so this area right here was an area where the newly freed slaves had an opportunity to either go to Africa, and there were several other places that they could have gone after slavery. And so thus we have, the Liberia and American connection, because after slavery, a lot of newly freed slaves were given the option to go several places, and one of those places was Africa. But I believe the gentleman's name, or the guy's name, was Frederick something, and he's the one who offered this choice to newly freed slaves. But this is going to sum up this video. I had received a lot of footage that I just enjoyed taking on yesterday, seeing and going down memory lane and putting myself in the shoes, or how my ancestors would have felt at certain sites. So it was very meaningful for me. Let me know if you got anything out this video. Have you ever been to this area, Winston-Salem, before? And if you have, what experience did you have? Did you, or were you able to go to some of these historical sites? Did you not have a clue that they existed? Let me know what you think. And I will see you in the next video. Happy Juneteenth, and may the Most High bless.